Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Conceptual Being, where the intention is well. My name is Jade, and I'll be your host for today's episode. And I'm super excited because today's episode is all about me. I know. But I wanted to record an episode just about the last, we're in August right now. So I guess the last 8 months. I just wanted to do a recap episode on where I'm at. I think the podcast really does a great job of being kind of like a record of where I'm at in life, and I can really go back and listen. And I know it's not about me, but at the same time, like, it is my podcast. It is really nice to be able to go back and be like, oh, okay, that's where I was at life. And I think that'll be really helpful in the future as well. But I also hope this episode is helpful for anyone that's listening. So I just want to give a recap of the last 8 months of where I've been and the mindset that I've had and everything that I've had to overcome. And I'll be honest with you, this podcast is going to be maybe a little bit ranty, but I think that that's okay. I think that that's really I think that's very on brand for me. I've come to terms with who I am as a person, which was one of my intentions for the beginning of 2025, which was to just double down on the person that I am. And I'm just going to double down on me. So it might be a little ranty, but I hope that there's some gems inside of this episode that are helpful for you. But let's talk. Let's just have a serious talk. Before we get into it, I will not lie. I'm a little tipsy. I'm a little tipsy because that's who I am as a person. Okay, that's who I am as a person. It's not funny, babes. It's not. I've got school tomorrow. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk about the last 8 months, where I've been, what's been going on, like mindset wise. Okay, so I think in order for this episode to be completely transparent, I need to start off with 2024, which is November 2024. November 2024 was a fun little time. Actually, no. Okay. You guys know I went to Peru. I did ayahuasca. I'll be honest with you, I deeply thought that I was cursed. The depression that hit me after ayahuasca was disrespectful. I don't know if I disrespected some Peruvian, whatever the fuck, on top of that mountain when I was like, God damn, this is the worst day of my life. But yeah, I came back to the Bay Area and was deeply sad. Got diagnosed with depression after that. Left the Bay Area after that, and then came back to Southern California. Was chill for like a month, and then got laid off. And honestly, I couldn't even say anything. I had to pipe down because I think that was something that I had to be quiet about, because that's kind of what I manifested. I knew that when I was in the Bay Area, I felt deeply in my heart that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And that was really bringing the vibes down, honestly. So when I got fired, it wasn't that shocking, because I was like, this feels like the natural step. But me being the person that I am, I was just like, I don't like change. I don't love this for me. And so I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a little bit, but that severance package went hard. Okay, so I was like, I'm gonna be okay. You guys gave me this hefty severance package. I'm gonna go do what I feel like I need to do, which is to share sound healing and be a guide through sound with other people. I'm gonna figure it out. Y'all gave me the severance package. I'm gonna go figure it out. So I went to go figure it out. And I honestly really, in my heart, felt like it was going to be Portugal. So on January 1st, I booked my ticket to leave America. And I knew that I wanted to leave America a long time ago. I knew that I wanted to leave in, I believe it was 2021 or 2022, when I did my first solo travel trip to Portugal. I was like, I'm not meant to be in America. I could feel it in my soul that this wasn't fulfilling me. And so I needed to go find a place that did. And so when I went to go do my first Portugal trip, it was amazing. I don't know if it was just like beginner's luck or whatever that was, but in my heart, I was like, wow, I don't need to be in America. And honestly, looking back on it, I probably should have just stayed in Portugal and like did the dash, you know what I'm saying? And just like been like, all right, I know in my heart I'm not meant to be in America. Let me really give my all to being in Portugal or wherever, because I felt like that was alignment. Like that was the first time that I've ever felt like I was in divine flow, but I didn't. I came back. I had got a new job as a consultant at Meta, and I played out that timeline, which was me working in tech, which was something that I did manifest. And I think that there's something to be said about you manifesting something or a timeline that you manifested and it coming true, and it may be being slightly delayed, because I think that that's what happened. That was a timeline that I had manifested that I think was slightly delayed for me. And so when it did come in, that wasn't necessarily the manifestation that I wanted for me at that time. Like I was kind of like reconsidering it. Had new information and I was like, "Oh, like I know that that's what I wanted, but now I've been introduced to new information and now I want something else." And I think that it is what it is. If that's happened to you, that's happened to me too. And so I lived out that manifestation, right? Like I stayed in the Bay Area. I worked in tech for, I think, 3 or 4 years. And yeah, I mean, I knew that I was over it. I remember sitting underneath a tree. I mean, not even just a tree. It's my favorite tree, the tree by my parents' house. And I was on mushrooms. I was slightly on mushrooms, but I was like, bro, you should have never came back from Portugal. You should have just stayed in Portugal. What are you doing? Now you have to like go do this job and you don't want to do it. I wish I would have been brave enough to stay in Portugal and just figure it out. But that's just me. Anyways, so I live out I don't know, I guess 4 years working in tech and then finally get laid off, which sounds terrible. But again, like I said, like I had figured out like that wasn't the timeline that I wanted to be on anymore. And so I really wanted to go into sound healing and like figure it out. And like me not being in sound healing was making me depressed, like in a very dramatic way. Like I was just like, bro, I felt like I was cursed. Like I felt like I came back from doing ayahuasca in Peru in, I think it was June or July of 2024. And that was the saddest I've ever been. And I really think it's because I was not in alignment with who I was as a person. And so I get laid off in November 2024. And I was like, all right, this is my chance. This is kind of what I've been manifesting. This is kind of what I've been wanting. I wanted to first understand who I am under pressure. It's dumb. Don't do that. I know who I am under pressure. And yeah. But that's what I was like, I feel like under pressure, I will figure it out. And that was my mindset. And I was like, this is my chance to go out, figure out where I want to be in the world. I thought it was Portugal deeply in my heart. I was like, I think it's Portugal because in 2021, when I went to go visit, that was the place that I had only really experienced a state of flow. And I think that if you've ever experienced a state of flow in your life, it's a little bit addicting. Like you're just kind of like, it was just so easy for me to call in things that it was very addicting. It was very like, I want this, and then the next day it would happen. Excuse me, I'm just a girl. Like, excuse me for calling in something and getting it the next day and being excited about it. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't feel sorry about it, to be honest with you. I loved it. And so I was like, I feel like Portugal is a place for me. And I do think that Portugal was a place for me in that time. But again, that was 2021. Flash forward to 2020, I think 3. I did the whole sound bath thing in Bali. And I think that my vibrational energy changed. And so I always I kept in my mind that I wanted to leave America, but I think that I had Portugal so like I was so locked in on Portugal that I wasn't aware that just in general my energy was just saying you need to leave. And I think that Portugal was a match at that time. But flash forward to 2025 when I was like, okay, like I January 2025. I'm leaving America. I'm going to start in Portugal. We're going to double check that this is the right place because at this point in time, this is my third time going to Portugal. And I just wanted to double check before I submitted for the visa and did the whole thing. I get to Portugal. 'Twas not for me, babes. 'Twas not for me. And that might have been my bad for going there during winter time. But to be honest with you, if I'm going to live there, I need to experience all the seasons. I got there and that was probably this wasn't the saddest I've ever been, but it's like, this isn't for me. And so I left. I went to Thailand because I checked the weather app and the weather app was like, oh, it's like 99 degrees over there. Bro, in Portugal, it was like 50 degrees, which if you know me, you know that my perfect like temperature is like 78 degrees. Anything lower is cold. Anything higher, it's a lot of hot, babes. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go over to Thailand. Went over to Thailand and it was hot. That was the hottest I've ever been in my entire life. I swear, like, I'm going to give you a side profile. I sweated out an entire chin. Like, I swear before I went to Thailand, I had 2 chins. I left Thailand with 1 chin. I was like, oh, I'm sculpted. If you ever need to lose a chin, go to Thailand in May. That was the hottest I've ever been in my entire life. Anyways, so I went to Thailand, did a meditation. The meditation was very much like go to Bali. First day, I'm talking first day in Thailand. I did a meditation and I was deeply meditating the entire time that I was on this. Like, I honestly thought that I wasn't going to come back to America, but I guess now that I'm back in America, oh, side note, I'm back in California right now. It's a long story. We'll get back to it. But at that time, it was just like, go to Bali. And I was like, okay, first day, good to know. I end up like going through Thailand, I think for a month. Started in Bangkok, went to Chiang Mai, and then ended in Phuket. Somehow just got my conversations tied. I don't know. I was just like, by the end of the trip, I was like, okay, I should go to New Zealand. Bad decision. Bought a ticket to New Zealand, completely just out of my head that I said I was going to go to Bali. Bought a ticket to New Zealand. The universe was like, no, what did we say? You see how you don't listen? And I'm like, yeah, okay, understandable. Bought a ticket to New Zealand. There was a cyclone. I don't know nothing about cyclones except for like, I think that song is like, she moves her body like a cyclone. Yeah. And I was like, I actually am not equipped to handle a natural disaster. What I do know about myself is I'm not that girl. And so I was going to go to Australia. There's a lot of things going on during this time. And I was like, maybe I'll go to Australia. America doesn't really teach us deeply about like geography. So I was like, if there's a cyclone in New Zealand, isn't New Zealand like really close to Australia? Probably shouldn't go to Australia either. I don't think they're that close, but in my head I was like, yeah, no. Ended up going to Bali, which was originally where I got like the calling to go. The way that my lip gloss is like just all over this microphone is crazy. But went to Bali. And the thing is, I went to Bali and I was there for about a month and a half. And because I had been to Bali, it felt like a second home. Like I knew where I was. And I honestly, for a while, like I started in Ubud, and then once I went to Canggu, I was like, this could be the place. I see it. Like it was very nice to be around people that were doing the same thing that I was doing, which was working, but also like figuring out like a work-life balance, but like kind of like still getting it out the mud, but like it was just really inspiring to be around, and I really did love that. But once I ended up leaving Canggu, I realized that how overstimulating it was for me, and it wasn't the place. I'll be honest with you, it was like one bug. It was one bug that took me out in Bali, where I was just like, you cannot live in Bali, babe. You're not meant for this. I'm so sorry. You think that you're a different person. You're not. You are Jade from Eastville, California. You have never known struggle. Respectfully, you're in charge of killing a bug. This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, dog. And so it was one bug. It was one bug like a month and like 2 days in. I was like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of this place. Anyways, so went to Greece. Greece was Greece, the people there were so nice. I went to Crete, Greece, and I had already been there before. I had been there last year for my birthday, but was called back. And so I was like, all right, I'm interested to see why I'm called back to Crete, Greece. Got there and I was like, oh, it was just to confirm that this is not the place for me. The people there were so nice. I just want to say that. Like, they were so sweet. It was amazing. But I want to be in a place that loves me back. And that was not Crete, Greece. The people there were so nice, though. Yeah, that wasn't a place for me. And I was going to go to Cyprus. I was doing astrocartography the entire time. And I was like, okay, I have a Jupiter line going through Cyprus. Like, I can get down with it. I think, Cretan, I think that's the word. Cretan people have shown that they're so lovely and like, there's no issues. Be Cypriot people, Cyprus people. I think that's the word. Um, I'm sure they're just as lovely. I could get down with it, but specifically, Crete was not the place for me. And so my plan was to go to Cyprus. And then this is when I got a phone call that my mom had to have surgery. And I think you guys know I have a lot of anxiety, and one of them is health anxiety. And so hearing that my mom needed to have surgery was very much like, I was like, I'm not going to be there. Immediately booked a ticket to come back. I honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I was happy to come home. Like, I was ready to like touch base and come back home. I was a little bit afraid because I felt like, what if I can't leave America again? Like, there's so many TikToks that I've seen of people like in planes and things going crazy. And like, I was like, what if I can't leave again? What if I can't get back in? Like, all of these things were going through my head. And I ended up making it back in. It was fine or whatever. I've been here right now. We are in, what's today's date? It is August 15th. It's actually my parents' anniversary. So happy anniversary to them. But I've been here since I think June. And so it's been 2 months. And I'll be honest with you, I could have left like 2 weeks within June. That was enough for me to be like, all right, I've touched base. I think I did need to, in my opinion, like touch grass and then I can leave again. But I was going to, again, like I said, I was going to go to Cyprus. While I'm at home in Eastvale, I am doing research and stuff like that. The location of Cyprus is a bit too close to some action. I'll just say that. It was a bit too close for action. Hold on. I'm drinking. Okay. Cyprus was a bit too close for some action. And I was like, that sucks. But the whole point of me wanting to leave America is really for me to have just like a calm nervous system. That was originally like the reason. I was like, I need to be in a place where I could calm down my nervous system. And Cyprus, like, there's so many things going on close to there that I was like, I fear that that's not going to do what I needed to do. And I figured that out when I was back in Eastvale. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board. During this time, actually, when I was in Thailand, I signed up for a mentorship, which was called, I think, Sound Healers Business Academy. And I have a mentor. I have a sound healing mentor. And her name is Becca. She's really lovely. She's been really great and very supportive and an amazing guide throughout all of this, because she's really been with me like through this entire like journey. Honestly, it's been her, and I had like another mentor. Her name was Barbara. Shout out to Barbara. She's been lovely as well. But I had them as my mentor while I was figuring things out, and really helped me build my business. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I think you'll see a kind of shift in the way that I've been posting, of just like, oh, like, I don't know. If you look on Instagram, you can kind of see it. But that's been really helpful in me getting like guidance in where I'm going with my business. And I kind of figured out like my offerings and stuff, and like where I actually see myself. Of course, I'm still figuring things out because like I'm just a girl, but like been really helpful. Anyways, that's not the point, babes. What was my point? This is why you shouldn't drink and do a podcast. This is why you should drink and do a podcast, because this is fun. The reason why I brought up me being in like the Sound Healer Business Academy was because there was also it's all coming back to me. It's all coming back to me now. It's coming back to me why I brought it up, because there was a course on understanding intuition, and that course really, I think, is going to be the catalyst for the rest of this journey. And so obviously, like, I know about like my zodiac chart and stuff like that. If y'all don't know, like, big earth sign energy, my big three are earth signs. It is sun and rising Taurus, and then moon in Capricorn. And yeah, that Capricorn really be loud, babes, but it's all right, we ball, right? And so also Aries and Venus, which I think that makes a lot of sense. But it also like made me dive deeper into my human design, which my human design is it's a 2-4 generator, and I'm ruled by my sacral. And I didn't really understand what that meant until I started to do a deeper dive when I was in this Sound Healer Business Academy. And I learned that like I'm ruled by like my feelings, and which is funny because I've been avoiding my feelings. So was learning about different ways to tap into your intuition, and there was options on like, you can use like a pendant, you can use like muscle, like you can use the muscle test, which if you don't know, it's like sometimes you could hold an arm out and like if it's yes, it'll like hold strong. If it's no, it'll like your arm will go down. But for me, I use the body swaying method, which is very much like my body will sway forward if it's yes and backwards if it's no. And I think that me being ruled by my sacral really showed like your sacral is, we won't go too deep in it. We don't need to go too deep into this, but I'm ruled by like my body. Like my body will tell me what I need to know. And so the fact that like body swaying is like giving me yes or no answers, I think that is very in line with who I am as a person. And so obviously me figuring this out, I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. We're using our body to tell us yes or no. So where do I need to go? Like, where do I need to be? And I used my body to figure out where I needed to be. And I basically was just like, body, is it in Asia? My body's like, no. Is it in South America? It's like, no. Is it in Europe? It's like, yeah, girl, babe, that's where you need to be. So then I end up going through all of the European countries, and my body only sways yes to Montenegro. And that is where I plan on going. The issue that I was having when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go, and like throughout like the 4 months of me traveling, was very much like I didn't know what I wanted. And I think that the 4 months was me figuring out what I didn't want, which is funny because that's the way that I shop. That is exactly the way that I shop. I'll be like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. I'll know when I see what I want. And that's the way that I feel like I picked out what I want. Like I needed to experience me being in a tropical climate for you to be like, hey Jade, hey, you actually don't fuck with all these bugs, which will come with being in a tropical climate. You actually don't fuck with you not being able to use the faucet water. Like that is actually a big deal. Sorry, you're from the suburbs of California. Like you're not used to struggle. And my biggest like thing that I had to come to terms with is like you need the like nurturing that you had from California. As much as you want to talk shit on America, there are certain comforts that you're used to. Wherever you go cannot be a downgrade. Like that is something that I had to come to terms with. Anything like I didn't know that. I didn't know that about myself. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I should have known that, but in my head I was like, "No, I got it. Like I could get this out the mud." No, you cannot. Anywhere that you go actually needs to be an upgrade. And honestly, for you to go anywhere that isn't an upgrade is disrespectful to you. So, I didn't know that. And this is not, I just want to be so clear. This is not me saying anything crazy about the places that I went to visit. Portugal was amazing. Thailand was amazing. Bali was amazing. Greece was amazing. They're all amazing places, but there's certain comforts that I'm used to that I wasn't able to get. And I'm going to say them for you. I'm going to say them for you so that you can hear where I'm coming from. For me, these are, and like, again, not me being a shithead, I promise you. But Portugal, the mold, why is everyone so used to mold? Why is everyone so, like, why are we normalizing mold? I'm so sorry. Why are we? That's cool. You might be like, Jade, why were you staying in places that had mold? I didn't know that they had mold. I didn't know. But how casual people are about having mold is crazy. That's neither here nor there. Portugal, people there are amazing. Again, I thought I was going to move to Portugal, but maybe I was just having bad luck. Maybe the universe was like, let me put her in the worst places to like shoo her out of this country. This is not for you. This is not in energetic alignment anymore. So that was a thing for me. I was like, that's a little sketchy. In Thailand, the water, honestly, for me was an issue. Me not being able to wash my hair in the shower was an issue, and like needing like a shower filter, and maybe that's on me. That's fine. Me always being afraid of the water, me being afraid of the food. Again, I do have like health anxiety, so it might have been unnecessary, but if I'm worried about like my lunch taking me out, I can't live under constant stress. And the same thing for Bali. Like, to be clear, I never got sick in Thailand. Like, I was chill. Bali gave me then hands. Okay, Bali, like, they were like, I wish I could show y'all my aura score like ring, my aura score like resilience score. Diabolical. I was doing good. I was doing so good. I was in Portugal. My score was good. It was solid. And then went to Thailand, solid. Went to Bali. I ended up getting like some like weird stomach thing. It dropped so hard and I never recovered after that. Bali, while it was beautiful, did its big one on me. I ended up getting like a food sickness thing. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still like it did ruin my plans for like 1 or 2 days, and then after that like my gut biome just like really never recovered after that. So that was a thing for me. I was willing to overlook it, but I was like hyper aware even when I was going to leave Bali that, hey, you're gonna be on an airplane for, I don't know, like 18 hours to go somewhere. Maybe be careful on the food that you're eating. Why is that something that I had to consider? It is what it is. I was very hyper aware. I ended up leaving Bali, no stomach issues until I got to the airport and got some like weird. This was probably my fault. I did end up getting sick on the airplane though. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny, babes. It wasn't funny. It was actually terrible. And that was 18 hours of agony on an airplane. So, I mean, that was one thing. But then also, like, my mom needing surgery and needing it fast when I was in Greece kind of put things in perspective that, hey, I don't want to be super far away from my parents. Although I don't think that America is the place for me, I don't want to be too far from them because they are getting older, and that is, something that's on my mind. I do want to be close to them. And I mean, best case scenario, I can convince them to come to wherever I am, because why not? Anyways, yeah, so I ended up going to Greece with a little bit of a tummy ache, babes. It was a bit of a problem, but it's all right. We saw ball, babes. Got to Greece, and this is going to sound so petty, but I got a mosquito bite on my face, and I was like, nah, this ain't for me. This ain't for me, dog. This ain't for me. They don't want me here. And it's so petty when I say it. Like, oh, I got a mosquito bite on my face. But I got a mosquito bite on my face. And like my face, I need this face card. It was huge too. The mosquitoes were eating my ass up. So I was like, all right, Greece isn't the place for me. Came back home, learned to tap into my intuition using like the body swaying method, went through all of the European countries, found out that it was Montenegro, and I was like, all right, cool, we're gonna go to Montenegro. So now it is August 15th and I leave August 29th. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends for about 2 weeks in Croatia, and then from Croatia I go to Montenegro, and I'm super excited. I don't know what is to hold. I'll be honest with you. I do think I need to go to Italy, but I know in my heart, my husband is Italian. And I know that's like a big statement to say. You're like, damn, that was a proclamation. Is that the word? I don't know, whatever. But What if you marry a guy and he's not Italian? There is this proof that you deeply thought. I really do feel like in my heart, my husband is supposed to be Italian. Whatever, we'll see. Eventually, I'll go to Italy, but I'm like, girl, once you go to Italy, are you ready to get married? Because I truly, in my heart, feel like that's what's going to happen in my heart. Anyways, so that's where things are at with me. And things have been really, I don't know if I am in a place of being deeply connected to myself and my intuition, or if I'm experiencing like spiritual psychosis. I'll be honest with you, it's a really weird place to be. Truly, honestly. Like, it's like, am I deeply connected or am I crazy? Well, I'll find out soon. Stay tuned. But that is where I have been at. And it has been, I don't actually know how I feel about it. How has it been? It has been really confusing. I have been so confused, but also when you take time to review things how they are, it's been oddly transparent and clarifying. Like, it's like I needed to experience the last 4 months of my life, or the last 4 months while I was traveling, so that I can unlock this new level of where I plan on being. So yeah, I mean, the podcast and everything, I think that you've seen it grow this last year. Like, this has been the first year where I have guests. This has been the first year where I've been solo. I've just been figuring things out, and it's been, as much as I want to have things figured out, I know that I'll look back on things and be like, damn, what a time. And I want to be so clear, I would love to have things figured out, but sometimes you got to do a calculated risk, babes. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's the way that I am viewing things, because if I don't view it like that, and if I view it as me just being reckless, me being just like, I'm just going to do whatever I want, that starts to freak me out. But if I start to realize it as like, think of yourself as like a stock, and you don't know how things are going to go in your stock, but sometimes you got to put money into it. And maybe my money is my energy, and I'm just risking it. If I view it that way, of like me being like, hey, I'm taking a calculated risk. It does feel calculated, but at the same time, like, I feel like this is exactly what I need to be doing. As much as it is uncomfortable for me, and I do want to be clear, this entire journey has been incredibly uncomfortable for me. I've cried in my Airbnbs. I've cried in my hotels. I've literally like got on my hands and knees and been like, why is this happening? What the fuck am I actually doing? I don't think I would change it all. I think that this is exactly the way that I need to experience it for me to be impactful for the person that I know that I am meant to be. And it pisses me off. But at the same time, I could hold my hands up and be like, all right, this is the way that I need to go. And I think that I can realize that I don't want to be all like, everything is amazing, because everything's not. Everything's not. Sometimes things are shit. Respectfully, and sometimes things are shit for you to learn the lesson that you need to learn. Maybe that's where I'm at right now. And I learned that in Bali when I was sitting in that wherever the fuck in the dark, like talking to my spirit guides for like 4 hours, and then being like, girl. And I was like, I think that I needed to go through this exactly the way that I did in order for it to make sense, and in order for me to hit the way that it needed to hit. Because if it didn't, it wouldn't have. I apologize for the burp. But that's where I've been at for the last, honestly, 8 months. It's been really confusing. It's been very like, why me? But also like, I get it. Like, I know it needs to happen this way, but I just want to be transparent, because I think that a lot of people will see the way that I am portraying myself and be like, oh my God, that seems so amazing. And honestly, if I wasn't me, I would also see myself and be like, that's so amazing. Like, that's so cool. Like, the way that she's living her life. Like, I do feel like part of me feels like I'm living like kind of like a rock star life, but I'm like following my dreams. But if I wasn't me, I'd be like, that's so cool. Like, I'm honestly like slightly jealous of like the way that she's living her life. And so this is why I want to be transparent with the way that I've been living my life. It's been very confusing. I lost my job. I did not quit my job to follow this dream. I feel like I was pushed into this life. Yes, was I making money from it? Yeah, from unemployment. Like, I'm not stupid. but also I had the severance and everything. Like I had like a little bit of a cushion. I obviously had like I have some savings, I have stocks and stuff like that. But like I just wanted to be transparent with the way that I've been living my life, which has been there are safeguards that I have in place, and I wanted to be transparent, honestly. And for my mindset, do I sometimes wake up in like a what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, I do. I want to be clear about that too because I think sometimes people are like, oh, she's just super chill. Bitch, I am a Capricorn moon. I would like to have a steady stream of income, okay? Like, be clear. So, I just wanted to make that very apparent. This has not been the least stressful, but at the same time, I know that this is exactly the life that I kind of manifested, and it's been heavy to be in a transition period where it's like this is kind of what I wanted, but I'm not exactly there, and you kind of just have to have faith, but at the same time like I am like a human living this human experience. Where's the steady stream of income? But at the same time, like the steady stream of income that you used to have, which was from corporate America, was deeply making you sad. You were in a very deep depression. Every morning you'd wake up and sit on the side of your bathtub and just cry before you had to go to work. So do you want that life? No. Do you want the life that you have right now, which is like very unsteady but in alignment kind of? Yeah, but let's go ahead and get to the part where we're like in alignment but also like making money. That's where I'm trying to be. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to be clear on that. And I didn't want to fake it. I didn't want to presented in a way that makes you feel like you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. It's weird because it's like, is this a life that I would have chosen? Yeah, but like probably a little bit more, we'd have had things a little bit more figured out. But when will things ever be fully figured out? I don't know. Maybe when I'm on my deathbed and be like, damn, you know what I just figured out? I just figured out I could have done that. So whatever, it's whatever. But I just want to record this episode to fully document where I am, which is I'm fully in a transition period. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with my life, and it is very scary for me. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not afraid because I am, but I'm more excited than I am afraid, and I trust in myself. I trust myself. I do trust myself, and everything's gonna be all right. I know that no matter what, I will get it out the mud. And if you are listening to this episode and being like, Jade, what the fuck was that episode? Respect. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes not every episode is going to resonate. And that's okay. But if you listen to this episode and you heard how fucking confused I am, but also how hopeful I am, I hope that inspires you to understand that not everything needs to be figured out in order for you to move forward. That's just where I'm at in life, and I accept that. It's a lot. It is a lot. I will not lie to you, but I believe in myself, and I think that that's all that I need. To be clear, I do have a master's degree. Like, I'm not stupid. I'll figure it out. Yeah. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, bro. But I hope this episode gave you something. I don't know what it would have given you. I hope that you are able to find a gem in there that inspires you. To just pursue your dreams. The last thing that I will say is while I was doing all of these things, I probably wasn't prioritizing my wellness as much as I could have. I think that it was just like balls against the wall, like just we were out here. And when I leave out August 29th, I will do a better job of really prioritizing my wellness and understanding who I am and putting safeguards in place to kind of keep myself in a straight and narrow path of where I need to be. Because when I was out there doing all the things, living all this life, I wasn't really prioritizing my health, and my health score on my Aura ring, which is that's where the way that I've been tracking it, was in the gutter. And I know that yes, I did get sick, but I don't think that I was really taking care of myself as well. So I think going on this next adventure, I will really prioritize making sure that I'm keeping to slight routine of what makes me happy, of making sure that I'm eating well and not just being like, you know what, I actually don't care anymore. Making sure that I'm getting enough water, making sure that I'm lifting heavy weights. And so in this next adventure, my intentions is to make sure that I join a gym, even though it might be uncomfortable for me to. Honestly, gyms make me nervous. I had to go to a gym this last, I want to say, month, because I was like, all right, I need to go to a gym in America to make sure that I can do it outside of America. Make sure that I'm getting a good amount of vegetables, good amount of fiber, because travel constipation is a motherfucker. And let's not forget that my I don't know, gut biome was on the spritz. Okay, so that's a thing. And then also making sure that I'm like putting myself out there to meet people and like being friendly enough and stuff like that. So I think that there's a lot of things that I'll do differently. I'm excited to see. I'll do a checkup probably the last month of the year in December, just to tell you guys how my second digital nomad experience is going. I don't know if it's much as a digital nomad. The reason why I did the quotes for the digital nomad, if you're listening, I did quotes for digital nomad, is because I don't think that I'm trying to be a digital nomad. I'm actually just trying to find a home outside of America. I don't want to be a digital nomad. I thought that I did. I can appreciate working in different places, but I just want to find a home, babes. So I don't know if that's me being a digital nomad or it's just me exploring, but I'll do an update on how the second term goes. But I'm going to wrap up this episode because I have been chatting a lot, babes, and I hope it was helpful and I hope that you got something out of it. But I think that I needed to come clean on my full experience for the last couple of months. I think that I portrayed it in a way that was beautiful, but I don't know if it was completely authentic. And so I just wanted to take a moment and a beat to really express where I was. And I feel like I was really confused. I don't want to say I was lonely, but I think I was really focused on who I was trying to become. And I wasn't really focused on like having fun. And that wasn't fun. And so this next chapter, I want to focus on fun. I want to focus on just being free and being in alignment for me. And I hope that on the next time that I update y'all on the way that me being a digital nomad and me exploring where I think is the right place for me, I hope that it comes with deep clarity. That's all I can say. So I hope that this episode was really helpful. I hope that you enjoyed, or at least came to a deeper understanding for where I am. And I hope that that was helpful for you. But with that being said, my love, I hope that you have a good day or a good night. And I hope that you are well. Bye.